Hey everyone, how's it going? You're very welcome to this very random upload of my first race in the F4 cars on iRacing. Yeah, this is a bit of a weird one to make because I'm doing voiceover for it and I generally just don't know what to say. It's kind of comes across as a little bit kind of pretentious, I think, as well at times, but just for this one occasion, this is a race that I just wanted to share with you guys and whoever is watching it, maybe in the hope that, yeah, just that you enjoy this type of content and that you can maybe gain something from it as well. But yeah, for me, I just want to kind of upload this and share my own kind of perspective on things and how they unfolded throughout the race. So this was a race at Road Atlanta that happened over the weekend there past, and very, very tricky because, you know, obviously trying to learn this track and try to learn the cars. I think I'd done maybe about an hour of practice beforehand, so I was in a lobby with I think a couple of F1 esports drivers, and they were like 1.5 seconds ahead of me or something crazy like that. So it was a little bit kind of disheartening to see those guys on this game, because it's bad enough when you're slow on the F1 game, but then to be slow in iRacing, it just kind of they're in a different league. So I was doing, I think, 121 fives, I think, throughout the practice sessions I was doing, but I managed to do my personal best, which was a 21.3. And you know, driving these cars, they're so much fun to drive, and they are tricky. And this track is just really, really difficult because you can't see anything. And you know, case in point, you miss your turn in just by a little bit, you're going to pay. So in the end, we qualified in P3, and we lined up on the grid. There was a good turnout. There was a lot of people on the grid, so to be in the top three, I was really, really happy with that, actually. But we go now for the race, and we get a really, really good start off the line, and we managed to kind of break away, I think, a little bit from the rest of the pack behind. These two guys, I think, done 21 zeros. I think the guy in the red car probably just done a tenth quicker than me, but this guy out ahead was really quick. So he was sort of on his own in terms of qualifying. But for me, in any of these races, I think with iRacing, it's just a case of just trying to keep it clean and just trying to keep it consistent as possible. You gain nothing by trying to go for a win necessarily. You've only got so much to lose, I think, in terms of your iRating and everything. So this was my first race in the F4 cars, so to be this far up the grid in this split was really, I think I was honestly quite happy with that. So I just wanted to kind of keep up with these guys ahead because I knew they were much, much quicker than me. So yeah, we're kind of breaking away from the pack a little bit, but these two are sort of, I kind of sense they were in a league of their own at the time, and the guy in the red car just completely decides to take the guy out. So we're in P1, and yeah, at this stage I assume I've got the race won. You know, like, it was a weird one because, like, I was so far ahead of everyone else, and I didn't quite know what to think. But yeah, this guy anyway just decided to go up the inside, and it's kind of hard to know who was in the wrong there. There was a little bit, I think, on both sides that they could have done differently, but I think the guy in the red car was entitled to a little bit more room, maybe, because he had a good run. But at this stage, I was just driving along. I think it was maybe 3 or 4 laps in, and I was pretty much just kind of driving like as if I've won the race. And it's kind of weird, like with these with racing as well, because you kind of go into yourself a little bit when you're in the lead and you're so far ahead. I found myself, I was able to push for the first 2 or 3 laps, but then after that I started to kind of second guess myself a lot, and I had about a 2.5 second gap. So the guy in the red car actually caught up to P2, but I had about a 2.5 second gap at that stage. So he was obviously quick, but it didn't help that I I caught up with the back marker, and I'm actually not sure if this was the guy that was taken out at the start of the race or not, because I just couldn't get past him, and he made life very, very tricky.
Michael, blue flags. Michael, this guy makes us lose the position.
And yeah, I tried to get his attention as much as I could by weaving. I don't know if that done anything. I don't know if that is the same guy, but as you can see, the guy in the red car that crashed out in lap 1, he's right behind us. Like, he was rapid, so I knew that he was going to catch me, but it didn't help things that I was stuck behind this spark marker, and he just wouldn't move. And just obviously the guy just didn't have a clue what he was doing, or he was kind of deliberately just doing his own thing, and he's racing absolutely nobody but himself. So I kind of set this corner up in the hope that I was able to get past him, and I kind of wanted to kind of just show myself a little bit in his mirrors if he was even looking. And to be honest, I don't even know if he was letting me through here. It didn't really feel like it at the time. I thought he was gonna keep his nose in, but I was kind of hoping if he was doing the same to me, he would do to the guy in the red car the same thing. But sadly, he just gets out of his way, and that basically releases David, I think this guy's name was at the time. And yeah, he's right behind us, and my mindset was, it was just a case of just try to keep the car on track, and he's got to try and do the most of the work at this stage, because he's eventually got to get past me. But I make a mistake. I think I locked the rears going into that corner, and that basically sets him up where he just takes the better line, and he's able to carry more speed and has everything that he needs to get past me. And we were going side by side, and I just decided to back out, because I was like, you know what, there's no point in fighting this. He's on the best line, and I ended up getting a good switchback, which kind of caught me out. And I sort of take these section of corners very, very gently, because I just don't know what to expect. But this was an interesting part of the race, because I was kind of thinking to myself, I was really happy with kind of my progress on this game thus far, and this guy was obviously much quicker than me. But my mindset was kind of like, I can either back off and like let him get away, or I can try and learn what I can from him, and actually maybe kind of watch his breaking points and kind of follow him, which kind of lines he takes. And he was much more aggressive than me on the curbs as we get past the rest of the back markers. So that was something I knew that I had to try and replicate if I wanted to keep up with him, because he's a good bit ahead at this stage. So that was my mindset. I think this lap that I done, I'm nearly certain it's this one. I think it's either this or the next, but I done my personal best, which is a 20.7, and I think the esports guys were doing like 20.0. So that was a win in my books, because I was able to learn so much off this guy, and just kind of follow him around the track and just push the car as much as I could. And I think that really stood by me, because I think that's what iRacing is really all about. It's not necessarily about you got to win at all costs, which I think the F1 games kind of, especially in league racing, that's the kind of the mentality I think you need when you're in those. Whether it's for P1 or P2 or whatever. But in this one, I really wanted to challenge myself, and that's one of the reasons why I've got iRacing. I really wanted to challenge myself in a different way, because the feedback and the handling of these cars is so good. Even the Formula V cars and everything like that, it's what I've been searching for, that the F1 games weren't necessarily giving me. So with iRacing, it's not about necessarily being the quickest, it's just about being the most consistent and being the best. So this set me up that we were on the final lap, and I was chasing him down, and I definitely noticed I was a lot closer on this lap. So I basically took everything I learned over the past maybe 2 or 3 laps and just tried to apply it as much as I could. I was able to take a tighter line through here, which I was really happy with. And then going through here, this is the trickiest part of the track, I think, because you can't see anything. And going down into here, now the issue is he's got a back marker ahead of him as well. So essentially, we have the benefit of the slipstream, and I just send it in through here as well, and he takes it very cautiously. And that's the mentality, I think, when you're in the lead of the race. You don't want to risk anything, and that's the way I was at the start. So this was the part of the track I felt I was definitely weakest at, was just trying to get the car set up where I could get the best exit possible. The problem is that the guy ahead of him, who's the back marker, is so slow, and we've caught up to him at the worst possible time because he's giving the leader a slipstream. And I knew this was just my last chance, really, so I don't know, I decided to kind of show that I was going to go up the inside, and then he defends, and then I have to at the last second cut across, but I kind of lose the rear of the car again, and unfortunately I couldn't get him on the switchback, which I was maybe trying to do, but unfortunately it just didn't work out. But without a doubt, one of the most fun races I've done on any game. That was a blast, and I gave him a bit of a weave just as a sign of respect as well, which I enjoy doing. If I race someone that is really quick and that's really clean, I definitely enjoy just letting them know. And he did send me a message afterwards saying GG afterward. But yeah, so P2 in my first Formula 4 race, which honestly is so great. I'm like, I was over the moon about it and had a lot of fun. And yeah, so I just wanted to share this one with you guys, and I hope you enjoyed. And I don't know, if you want to see more like this in the future, just let me know, or not. I don't care. Anyway, I'll see you guys later. Cheers.